Oh man, it's been a brutal day, traders. Great to have you back on the channel, and we gotta have a bad talk. So today, AMC got wrecked, but along with it in the after hours, GameStop took an even bigger beating. We expected to get some new news, maybe going on with Cohen and some of this stuff going on with the earnings report after their CEO stepped down, and we didn't really get anything. But I'm going to be going over my positions that I have in AMC, the call options. Guys, it's worth noting before we get into any of the content, AMC is one of the most risky positions you can be in if you're putting money into the position. It's money that you should be willing to lose. It's almost like gambling with what's going on here. We've seen 5x our money very, very quickly, and then we've seen these giant pitfalls that we've had lately. Now, do I think there's a short squeeze possible? I do. But with this going on right now, people and retail investors primarily don't really understand the risk involved with this position right now. But it's worth noting that this is one of the most risky plays out there available. When you're going to the market, especially as a retail trader, I just think it's kind of my priority to explain the risks that are involved with AMC and getting into these positions. But nonetheless, you're here for the boys, you're here for the content. Let's go over the charts. Let's see where this thing is going. Let's find the bottom. Also, before we get into the content, could you please hit that sub button down below and leave a thumbs up, because the thumbs up really helps me out. Let's get started. All right, so we're going to cover a little bit about GME. You're probably wondering, Tyler, what does GameStop have to do with AMC? I came here for the stock because I love it. Now, GameStop has everything to do with AMC right now because AMC is definitely getting a pullback with the news of the dilution on the shares potentially. Yes, I said potentially. This isn't set in stone yet, but it's looking like it could happen. Now GameStop, this is where we need to spend our time for the next few minutes. Nevertheless, GameStop did some interesting stuff and made some interesting statements, as you can see right here. Now, along with missing on earnings, which I did not think was even possible because I thought they had one of the best quarters of all time for themselves, their e-commerce sales were up through the roof, like 190%, proving concept is working. You know, you win GameStop, you're doing good. Now, with GameStop, though, they announced that they could be selling some of their shares to fund the transformation of the company. We didn't get Cohen coming in as that replacement either for that step down to the COO. That was, two bearish things off the bat. And then GameStop just lays the hammer on everyone with this, potentially selling shares. Now, I'm trying to turn this for as positive as possible, but I can't really do it. If you're looking at the company over AMC, though, at least they have a business plan. If you look at AMC, they're just trying to dilute the shares and do stuff like that to fund this never-ending band-aid of a problem. GameStop is saying they're willing to sell some shares to fund the transformation. I get it. It's still kind of diluting the stock in a different type of way. They're selling their shares, but they're not trying to dilute it as like AMC is doing. So that is a little bit more beneficial. So I do like what's going on with GameStop, but this was the most bearish news you could possibly get. But it shows that they trust this process and what they're doing. And most of all, I believe Cohen is behind this move. I do believe he'll step up into a more senior role in the near future. I mean, do your own DD on that. That is just speculation, though. So as you look at this, I'll have the link down below so you can take a look for yourself. They're trying to get out of the brick and mortar game and go to more e-commerce. Now, the numbers are up 190% on the quarter. That's phenomenal. Honestly, that speaks for itself. So the theory that I guess they were just a brick and mortar, and even I kind of said that, is kind of out the window now. So those numbers are up. GameStop didn't perform well in earnings. The bright side of earnings, long story short, was that the e-commerce was through the roof. But you're asking me, Tyler, why does this matter? I really could care less about GameStop. Again, I told you, we're getting there. So we're seeing this massive dump on AMC over the past few days, 3 days to be exact. A pretty big retrace after I did point out that we haven't had that retrace. Eating my words now. So you can see we're getting this nice three-wave pattern so far on the downside, and it doesn't look like it's over. So on the after hours, we're seeing us follow GameStop down to 1025. I'm curious to how we open tomorrow, and you can see I have a little area highlighted. I did believe 1120 would be a pretty nice support, but then with the GameStop news, AMC continued to follow to the downside. Now, 940, we talked about this a lot. We saw that it took us a long time to break above it. Now we're going to hope that it could take us a long time to break below it. This is a pretty massive support. If we kind of zoom back out, you can see we had a few tests of this level, and then we finally gapped above it and then held above it again. So I do love that as a support, so we're going to want to watch that. Now, another thing that is worth mentioning is before the close, we did see a pretty nice little uptick, kind of getting a flat line on the OBV, which is something I've been looking for. I've been looking for any hope in AMC. Now, I did grab some more call options at $12, and those aren't looking so hot right now, but I'm a man of my word. I said we get to 1120. I'm going into some positions. I did, and then we dumped. So as we look at what's going on, we need to see some type of flatlining. We cannot keep going on this downward trend on the OBV. We could see a massive sell-off on the stock, and I'm not the guy that's going to tell you stuff you just want to hear to get more subs. That's not who I am. So what I'm saying is if we keep breaking down this line, things could get ugly because we're finally seeing that massive OBV sell-off, which we did not want to see, which has kind of kept us very, very bullish, which would bring us most likely into a retracement phase, similar to what we saw on AMC in the past. So let's take a really quick zoom back out and look at how we, kind of consolidated in this range on the bottom over here. So you can see that we trended for a long time, about 2-3 weeks, give or take, in this zone, right? And this was that retracement phase. We finally bottomed out, and then we just consolidated between $5.50 to $6, and then eventually we mounted that $6 range, and we took off. Now the question is where do we consolidate? Where do we find support? And where do we kind of make that stand, if you will, the last stand as the Spartans once did? So can we make that stand? Hopefully at 940. Now, people are going to be asking me, Tyler, what about your positions for April 1st? Those are a lost cause at this point. We're just going to have to take those as a loss. I did not think that we would drop this hard, but I could not have anticipated what happened with GameStop, and most of all, I couldn't have anticipated what happened with AMC CEO and the executives as far as the dilution on the shares, which again, those aren't set in stone. Those could be rejected, but it doesn't look good. So what I want to see is some flatlining. Hopefully we don't even make it down to this range down here. I would love for us to just consolidate here, but it's highly probable we continue down to 940 just because that was such a massive support. Best case scenario, we come in tomorrow, GameStop, has a little bit of upside. This is very optimistic, and we start getting right back above 1120. If we hold above 1120, I'm extremely bullish. We can get a nice rubber band move back to the upside very, very quickly. But I'm going to say realistic, and I'm going to say that we most likely continue this trend down, finding 940 and finding support. You're going to want to see a flat line movement on that OBV to indicate buyers are steady, and we want more people getting back into the stock, and the OBV will be the leading indicator showing that this is looking bullish. So those are the things that I'm really looking at here on AMC. Now, that wasn't the most bullish video on AMC, but that being said, I have positions. As unfortunate as that may be, I have AMC call options that are, could be eating me alive pretty soon. So we'll see what happens on those positions. Overall, how am I feeling on AMC with the price action? If we get a strong move tomorrow back above $11, I would be ecstatic and I would be one of the biggest bulls that there is. But that's looking very improbable. If I had to put a probability meter, it would probably be sub 15% chance that happens. Going into tomorrow, it's looking like GameStop is absolutely bearish, which AMC most likely follows, and we get a push down to $9.40 very, very soon. Now with GameStop, how below do we go there? I don't know, and honestly, I kind of don't really care. All I can think about is the money that's being burned away on my AMC options. If you have any questions on this video or anything that I'm doing with my options, comment down below. All I really do is trade options, and I'm live every single night around 8:30 to 10 p.m. Central. Also, I appreciate it if you hit that sub button down below and leave a thumbs up, because I post videos every single day on the stocks that I love and the stocks that you guys request, and then the stocks that I just find interesting. Have a good one, boys. Namaste.
Check.